Hey, everybody, this is Patrick Elkins from the Church Creatives Network. Really excited to be here today with Kevin Melton, who is in Fort Worth, Texas. He serves at Gateway Church. He's been an MD for many years. Kevin and I actually go back decades at this point, which is pretty wild to
Decade.
think about. Just serving ministry. He's been a mentor in my life for so many years and is doing incredible things to serve the church. So we just wanted to have a conversation with Kevin today about one of his resources, which is called Kevin Melton Productions, and how he is equipping and training the church, what kind of materials he has available. So Kevin, we'd love to hear kind of your heart for the church, your heartbeat of kind of what you're focused on and how you equip people, and excited to empower you here on this network.
Oh man, thanks for having me, Patrick. And it's a great honor just to talk about the church, right? We love the
Yeah.
church. The church is a love-hate relationship, but mostly love,
Mostly love. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, with my website, I definitely extend the branch to churches to do training and coaching, consulting.
Yeah.
I've been working in the church for many decades. Funny story, working with you at a church in Grand Rapids, Michigan that we were part of. We saw a need where no one was leading worship in for kids ministry during the weekend. And so I had a Korg Triton keyboard at the time, which had a bunch of built-in drum beats and all kinds of stuff like that. And so my wife and I started going back in kids and doing "Friend of God" and "You Are Good" and all these songs. And then it turned into us doing kids camp for many years and building that whole thing up and serving the kids. And my wife and I still talk about those days. Even my kids, the other day, my kids are all in their 20s now. A couple are married off. And they were talking about kids camp, and they were like, "Dad, those were some fun times at kids camp when you and Mom were leading worship and all the stuff that was going on." And so really at that point, when I started doing that, I really saw the need for training and equipping and coaching and
Yeah.
calling other people out, calling their gifts out, saying, "Look, we can't do it all. No couple of people can do it all. We need everybody. Like everybody needs to do their job in the kingdom for the kingdom to advance."
That's right.
And so it's just kind of naturally worked out with my giftings. You take all the personality tests today that are out, the Enneagram and Strength Finders and all the stuff. And everything for me always points back to communication, teaching, leadership. And so it's just kind of been a natural evolution for me to just start pulling people into my network saying, "Let me help you, let me train you, let me equip you." And so I've trained people over Zoom in other countries, Lebanon and Germany. And, my wife and I have been out of the country a few times to teach workshops at places. So it's been a passion of mine now for years, and I still love to do it, is just helping people connect the dots with technology, practical and spiritual. Also, they both need to be in the room for things to happen.
Yep.
Right. And so you may want to preach the gospel, but if your PA sucks, well, then you're not going to do very much. And
Right.
so the practical is very important when it comes to the spiritual principles that you're wanting to do. And to me, one of the most practical things that people can do in church is to make disciples. And
Yes.
when you have people in your network, in your church that have gifts and talents, but what they need is coaching and training, the best thing that you can do for the kingdom is empower them and help steward their gifts with them and help grow them, because all of a sudden their role in the kingdom blossoms and now they're doing what they're called to do and the church
Yes.
benefits. And so it's been to watch you grow into all the things that you're doing now. I mean,
Yeah.
you're out there making a difference, and you're creating platforms to bring people together and doing all this stuff. So this all happened because people had to speak into your life when you
That's
were
right.
young and help you understand, "Hey, Patrick, you got gifts, you got talents, you got to work on this. Here's some things you can." And that's what I love about training and equipping. I recently just got back from Israel and had one of the first multi-tracks workshops that's ever been there. And the fun thing for me, it just all boils down again to just basic training.
Yeah.
How to get dynamics in your worship set, how to do this, how to do that, and watch the light bulb moment for people in the class when things start to connect and they realize, "I can do this." Like now I realize I can do this. Before it was, "How do I do this?" And then by the end of the workshop, it's, "I can do this."
Yes.
And so it's a lot of fun for me and my wife. My wife does vocal workshops and things like that at the same time. And just equipping the church and watching them grow in their gifts, watching the kingdom advance, is just it's a huge honor for me. And I just get it really rejuvenates me when I get done with a fun class. It just makes me excited because I'm thinking, well, these people now can go back to their churches and they
Yeah.
can help raise up that next generation. They've been equipped, so now they can go equip. And that's
Yeah.
how training and stuff should look in the kingdom for sure.
Well, and as a musician, you've been primarily focused as a keys player, but
Yep.
obviously from your heartbeat of raising people up, the idea that technology is so widespread in the church now,
Right.
how we're
Right.
empowering and utilizing it in a worship service and all of that. So can you unpack a little bit when someone connects with Kevin Melton Productions? What types of training are you actually able to provide? What kind of areas are your highest areas of passion? What do you love to teach about? And what does that look like for somebody?
Yeah, great question. And so it's a few different levels. Number one, I've been a music director at Gateway for many years. I've been a worship pastor, both volunteer and paid. And back in the day, you can tell by the white in my beard, I'm not 20s in my more anymore. But back in the day when I was a worship pastor and there was no MDs, I was the MD first in rehearsal, and then I
Yep.
was the worship leader in the service. And so now a lot of times people will want training on raising up MDs, music directors, or even vocal directors. What
Yeah.
does a vocal director's position look like in a church
Yep.
as it pertains to training the team how to learn parts and what is all that, what all that goes. But so that's one area. People will say, hey, we would love to do a class or do a workshop so you can train up MDs. The other one, primarily because people know me as a keys player, they will want to learn sound design. They'll want to know how to do modern worship sounds, in today's worship set. And so I get to teach on technology called Mainstage and virtual plugins. How do we achieve these really cool textural sounds that really change the atmosphere? One of the things that I sell on my website is called drone pads, and they're audio files that
Yep.
I've created in every key in different aspects of inversions. So there's a high packet for the higher stuff. That actually came when I actually played on Leland's record, Better Word, on the song Waymaker.
Yep.
Those pads that first fade in, those are my drone pads. And that started me thinking, well, I should just make a whole bunch of these and get them out to the church so they can put them in Ableton or put them wherever they want to use them and use them in their service. So
Amazing.
drone pads are something that's a lot of fun to create and give you atmosphere. And then in Mainstage, you can create all these cool piano sounds and pads and leads and arpeggiated sounds, things that really help have fun in the service as well as steward the atmosphere.
Yes.
And so a lot of times, and this is one of my favorite things to say, sound design and chord design go hand in hand.
Yep.
So you can play a really cool chord with a really bad sound and it's going to sound bad.
I
And
love
then
that point.
you can use a really
So
cool
true.
sound, but play it in a really bad way and it's going to sound bad.
Yes.
But when you take sound design and you take chord design and you merge them together, kind of like a Reese's peanut butter cup, chocolate and peanut butter, boom, then you get this result of atmospheres in the sanctuary where you're trying to get people to worship God and kind of get the week off of them, get their month off of them, the things they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can steward those moments with sound design and chord design, you create an atmosphere for people to relax and
Yes.
focus on God. And so over the years, I have simplified how I've played and changed up how I played so that I can allow the sound design to come more forward, because I have found that a lot of times pads will do more of the work. So if I play less, I make it less about me and more about the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And so it's fun in those moments when people want to be trained and coached in those areas. Again, like I mentioned, I've taught Mainstage in Lebanon,
Yep.
which these people could be killed for going to church, and they're wanting to know how to create patches in Mainstage. And I'm up at 6 a.m. so that it's a 2 p.m. class for them over there. And I love it. Like, it's so much fun because here's 6 or 8 people that just want to learn.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so I have so much fun with that stuff. And I love, again, practical and spiritual. When they come together, it's a lethal combination.
Yes, I love that, Kevin. And so here's another question for you. I'm gonna use a swear word here, self-promotion. Okay, so the idea is you carry humility, right? It's built into your character. Now, God has opened doors for you to serve with some of the most impactful ministries and people on the planet from the worship perspective. If you were to flex a little and share some of your experience. Like, what are some of the things that you're most proud of? Some of the people you've worked with, some of the experiences you've had to be able to share with others. And now you're sustaining your character, and the Lord is opening new, amazing doors for you. Share a little bit about your history and just some of the exposure you've had in the worship world.
Well, and I appreciate that, Patrick. I do. I think that all of us, when we're in a position where we can influence, whether it's in a smaller church or in a larger capacity, I think that all of us battle with trying to stay humble because people are constantly praising you, not for your character, but for what you do. Right, man? It's very rare that someone will come up, man, and just be like, man, you're just the most humble person in the. No, they come up. What do they do? Man, your guitar tones are amazing. Man, your keys tones are amazing. Your piano chops are this and all that kind of stuff. And so, because people praise you for what you do, then you're constantly battling the maybe the temptation to believe the press. And yeah, I really am awesome. And what I have found, here's what I have found over the years. This has kind of been the secret sauce for me, is that when I'm in a constant state of training and equipping and discipling, if you will, it's a constant reminder that I'm about the kingdom, not my kingdom.
That's right.
And so if I'm a steward, I own nothing. So God owns it all. And really, everything that I'm doing is about stewardship.
Yes.
And when I steward training and equipping people, and I'm remembering that I'm a steward only, the one that owns it all could take it from me and hand it to someone else. And I would say, okay, Lord, it's all yours to begin with.
That's right.
And so when I come from a place that I don't have fear of losing something, it really opens up the door for me to pour 100% into people because I'm not intimidated by someone who could do this better than me.
Yes.
In fact, I use this example all the time. What did Jesus say to his own disciples? Greater things will you do than I did because you have the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
So one of the things that I really lean into when I'm training people is, listen, yes, the Lord has allowed me to do some great things. Being able to play on Leland's album, Better Word, post-production on, 10, 12 songs. That was a great experience for me. And it allowed me to really explore textures and bring something to that album, which is a great album.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it gave me more opportunity to train.
Yep.
And so I think that the sweet spot for anybody who gets opportunity and starts to maybe gain some notoriety. And I'm not even famous. I'm just not. And so it's funny, but I think that when you realize the more influence that the Lord gives you, the more opportunity to serve the kingdom, it keeps you in a posture of down versus up, because you realize this is an opportunity that the Lord has given me to invest in the people he redeemed. These are his people. And all I'm supposed to do is open my mouth and help them grow in their gifts. And so if I've stewarded some people over the years and they go on to do great things in the music industry, my response should be, this is amazing. Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity. And never be insecure about the fact that somebody could do this job better than me after I teach it. That's Absolutely. The goal. That should be the goal. They should be greater than me.
Yep.
And so I think that the more you serve people, the more it reminds you to walk humbly, because you own nothing. At the end of the day, I own nothing. I don't even own Kevin Melton Productions. It's all the Lord's, and whatever he wants to do, that's what he wants to do.
I love the way that you said that, Kevin, and just the idea of mentoring, raising up, searching for and calling out the gifts and the gold. And another word that I would add to that I think you have modeled as such a great example is fathering, and not just for your family, your sons, your daughter, you have fathered. Now you have, son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws, like all of
grandson,
your family, which has been incredible, because what you have stewarded in your life, excellence, the stewardship of both your calling, the passions, the purpose that God has put in your life, that has been passed down to now your family, your sons and your daughter, serving in their roles and in their purposes, and opening doors for them to serve with people like Jeremy Riddle and you name it. They're on tour doing their thing, playing for Gateway and all that, because you stewarded this in your life. But not only your family, passing on to guys like myself sitting here now, still pursuing these purposes and these passions God has given me, us,
Mhm.
all of us. And that's what this network really is about, kind of twofold. One, stewarding ourselves, our gifts, being able to glean and grow on our own from others, but also being able to deposit what God has put in our lives into others. So it's both a give and a take. And it's that probably the best word is that it's an exchange.
Right, right.
For all of us together in the network. And so kind of the twofold aspect of saying we want to be able to have that social and that interconnected exchange between one another. At the same time, having conversations like with Kevin today, with Kevin Melton Productions, and being able to provide and curate an environment where the resources available for equipping the church are easily accessible, and we're able to intersect and interface with those resources and put them to use and be able to learn and grow with one another. So this has been wonderful, Kevin. Just can't
Yeah,
thank you enough for your heartbeat, man. And this is not the only conversation we'll ever have. I'm sure that we'll have plenty more
let's
opportunities to
go.
share
Let's go.
wisdom, to just deposit. Let's do more of this. But thank you so much. I wanted to just kind of get an overview of Kevin Melton Productions. Guys, you can find his space. I believe it's under the worship tab. Look up Kevin Melton Productions. You're going to be able to find his website and all the resources and materials. And please use his feed to connect with him if you have questions or want to consider paying him for training. This is just an incredible resource for the church. Kevin, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. And
thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, excited to see where this goes and continue to see God move through your life, man.
I'm proud of you, dude. Keep going. Say hi to your wife.
Thank you, sir.
All right, bye-bye.
We'll see you.